Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unauthorized Media. It's just me and Joy today. JT had to take care of some stuff. We didn't post last week because JT has a family emergency. So we decided to take time off to let him take care of those things as privately as he possibly can. But we're here. We're going to talk about Week 4 and a couple of matchups we saw. In our previous video, we talked a lot about the Thursday night game that recently happened with the injury to Tua Tagovailoa. So we're not going to talk about that game. Cincinnati won 27-15. But a couple of games we highlighted. We highlighted the Saints versus Minnesota game, and we're going to be also talking about, to me, which is the matchup, one of the matchups of the week, which is Baltimore versus the Buffalo Bills. So we're getting to it for the week slate, Sunday slate. We got early game in London, which is the Saints versus Minnesota. So what you think about that game?
So other than everyone understanding Justin Jefferson he's that guy. Yeah. Like the way people talked about I forgot his name, Cup. The way people talked about Cup last year is the way I expect people to talk about Justin Jefferson this year. Because other than that one game where he got shut down, he's been it.
Man, hats off to Darius Slay, because that man, he is good. Great.
Unexpected even. I don't think anyone expected you to put him down like that. Like, to be good and be out there and like give him contested catches, we all expected that. You're Darius Slay. But shut him down? I don't think anybody's saying he's going to shut him down.
Well, speaking of which, not to refer back to, but even Jamar Chase, who is a promising receiver, he got pretty much shut down against Miami Thursday. So, those two played on LSU, and that was a part of that crazy receiver core with Joey Burrow.
Well, I wouldn't say Jamar Chase got shut down the whole game.
Yes, he did. If you look at the game, he really did. He had like about 4 catches for like 80 some odd yards, but for the most part of the game,
for the most part, I'll give you that. He was
a non-factor.
I don't think they called his name until near the end of the second quarter.
Right, man. But it was crazy. So Justin Jefferson going into this game is just like, I understand you got Marshawn Lattimore. I understand you got the Honey Badger back there. I understand you got Marcus Mays back there. But man, Justin Jefferson is just something special. Mm-hmm. Can you really contain him for a second week?
And while you're doing that, you're going against the Saints, who I'm just trying to figure out, what are you doing?
Well, they're going to be missing. They're going to be missing a couple of guys. Jameis is going to be out. He's dealing with like a vertebrae, something, dealing with his back. So enter in Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. And then also their go-to receiver, Michael Thomas, is going to be out. So that means a lot is going to be put on Chris Olave, the rookie receiver, and Alvin Kamara and the rest of the team. So there's 2 key pieces of that offense that's going to be missing. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting because you look at the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense is okay.
Yeah, they're all right. They're at the point where it's like, hey, we are here enough to where Justin Jefferson can fully shine.
Yeah, like for real. Because I mean, I'm not gonna be
because if these were really high scoring games on the other end of that, and it was just like, well, Justin Jefferson's doing that because he has to.
And then like, and, I don't want to bash Kirk Cousins or any other player, player in that match.
If you want to, I'll let you.
But I get that. I know you would, but because there's only one player I've really been hard on, which we'll talk about later on. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and bash Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, very good quarterback. But it seems like he just cannot get over a hump or certain humps or games where you have to depend on him because he didn't look good at all last week.
It's one of those I feel like if you get up early, Kirk Cousins looks good.
Oh yeah. Most
real good. If this is a fight, he don't really look that good.
And you're not the only person that have those sentiments about him. I mean, because plenty of NFL analysts, we're gonna say, have spoken about that of his career, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yep.
So, with that being said, who are you leaning towards? Because Dalvin Cook was limited this week, but he's expected to play.
As long as he's in, because I don't know what what did he get? Did he hurt last week or did
he got hurt last week?
Got hurt last week. So essentially, I still give it. I'm gonna give it to the Saints. The only reason I'm giving it to the Saints is because you have too many anomalies right now.
Fair.
So we know who each of these people are who are coming in to replace the people who are out.
Right.
We know who you are outside of this team, I feel like. In this dynamic, it's one of those things where it's like, were we fully prepared for your backup?
Mm.
And the Vikings defense has just been okay. Like we
said,
they've just been okay.
They haven't been nothing special at all by any means.
So I'll give it to the Saints just to give y'all a boost because I feel like even your fan base is kind of upset with you. I mean, your fan base has been upset with you for a while now. I mean,
yes,
they just have. But I do actually like Andy Dalton. As surprising as I feel like that is, me just saying that, I do actually like you. I've seen him just pick apart defenses, and it's just one of those things. So like, if you're not prepared for that, that's how you come through, and you think, oh well, the Saints are beat up. We're gonna just go in there and beat up on them, and then it's just like,
Remember, they're in London. So
yeah, you're in London. You're playing early in the morning. And your guys are sitting here going, I'm like, that's when coaching comes involved. When it's like, hey, they're still an NFL team. I don't care if it's 8 in the morning. Like, you got to get up at 6 and start stretching so that we can get in this game. I was like, yeah, I don't care if you just got off a flight. We flew over here. Like, I don't care.
I know the Saints made it. They literally flew the next day.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, they flew in sometime Monday, for sure. Like, there was a report. There was I forgot who reported. I'm sorry, but they reported it, and they were saying like they literally flew in the next day, so they could just get acclimated to the atmosphere.
So they're all in.
And so yeah,
they're all in. So it's just one of. I feel like if the Vikings come in and underestimate them because they're hurting, because they've lost some key parts, and they just think, oh well, Andy Dalton's a backup, and I was like, yes, he is a backup. And a lot of people are seeing that, hey, your backups need to be good this year.
But remember, he was a starter.
He was.
And he was a solid starter for Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of those things. Like, it's like, hey, you can underestimate him if you want, but just hitting Justin Jefferson might not be enough.
And he got Adam Thielen. He needs to depend on Alan Thielen and also the Cooks. Devin Cook, and as well as the defense Len Kendricks and the boys got to step up too as well on the defensive side for Minnesota.
That's because we were talking about Thielen a lot last year.
Man,
his name got called a lot.
Man,
was he like 10 games with over 100 yards in a row at one point?
He's such a great player. Mm-hmm. Such a great player. He a hometown guy too, from Minnesota, great went to college in Minnesota. And he's playing for Minnesota.
So you get both them boys started, him and Justin Jefferson started,
and then mix in Dalvin Cook. Man, but the defense is gonna come down. Can the defense get a couple of stops on that Saints offense?
Mm-hmm. Which I think is possible. Kamara has not been the Kamara of old.
Well, don't get me started with that.
He just hasn't. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I was like... I feel like it's literally just, hey, if you come in fully prepared like you should, you're sitting pretty. But with the way this weird season has started going...
Right.
I was like, I think Saints might crawl up and catch you. Because they like to keep it low and they like to drag you down with them.
I mean, it's just so early, and
right.
So it's so early. We gonna start to see who's who within the first bye week is what we saw week 7, week 6. Week 6. We're gonna start to see who's who by week 6 because it's not halfway. It's close to halfway of the season, and that's when people are injured, people are hurt, playing hurt. Because every NFL player say everybody's always paying through something. It's the NFL season. Yeah. It's a grind. Everybody's hurting in some form or fashion. If you're not hurting, you're not doing anything.
Yep.
But and then that's when you see who shows up. So with that being said. The next game we got. Next game is Atlanta, Cleveland. Who you got?
I give that to Cleveland. No specific reasons, but I give it to Cleveland.
You know what? I want Cleveland to lose, but it's hard to argue with. It's hard to go against Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So, and then the next game we're going to talk about. Which is Baltimore versus Buffalo. How you feel about that?
I expect a shootout.
You expect a shootout? So you telling me you don't think? Okay, I'm being very biased. I've always been a Chip Kelly fan. He's from the University of Miami, so I love Chip Kelly. I never saw him play because I was still in my mama's womb. But just looking at him play. And looking at him, the highlights of him play and everything from all the highlights and just the game rewinds and stuff like that. Man, Chip Kelly was a freak of nature. And to see that they went to like 4 Super Bowls and lost back to back to back to back. It's tough, man. And now they got a very similar situation with Josh Allen. And now you got Stephon Diggs. You got Devin Singletary who's back there. And you also got James Cook, Dalvin Cook's younger brother. You also got Gabe Davis. Their offensive line looks good. The defense, they're missing one of their Pro Bowl perennial superstar. Well, they're actually missing 2 because Tre'Davious White still haven't played from last season. I think he tore his ACL. Also, Micah Hyde is going to be out for the rest of the season, which sucks. So that leaves Poirier with 2 rookies as cornerbacks on the outside. Also, but the good thing is they still got Tre'Davious. They still got Tre'Davious Edmonds, middle linebacker. They also got Matt Milano, outside linebacker. They also got Von Miller, Ed Oliver on the D-line. And
key point, they have Von Miller.
And I'm just yes.
And that's their thing. Because Von he's your guy who you're probably looking to bottle up Lamar.
But can you catch him?
That's why. That is why I feel like it's going to be a shootout.
I want everybody in the AFC North to lose except my Steelers. But I'm not. Listen, we came in this year. If you look at the Baltimore video, we talked about how Lamar has to learn how to throw the ball accurately down the field. Lamar has been answering every question.
He said, "Let me show you."
Yeah, he said, "Let me show you." Not only that, listen, I'm putting on 25 pounds, and I'm gonna run this ball and still look like a light as a feather. And I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna throw for 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and I'm probably gonna score like 2 times over 100 yards rushing too. So just so y'all know, y'all can't stop me. So Baltimore is gonna have to pay me $500,000 about this offseason. But granted, you got 2 years because you're probably going to franchise tax me for 2 years. But it's all cool and dandy. But by the time these next 2 years are over with, y'all going to have to pay me about $500,000 because, first of all, I'm on my way to win another MVP. So I'll be 2-time MVP winner. I got a possibility of winning a Super Bowl within these next 2 years. And then once you give me a solid number 1 receiver and upgrade the defense, I'm going to just continue. That number just going to continue to go up. And not only, you're not going to have to negotiate with no agent or nobody. You negotiate with me directly. So you can't tell me no BS or no lies to my face. If not, my service could go somewhere else and y'all could just go ahead and decrease and be bottom feeders of the NFC North again. So as Pittsburgh continues to climb up and figure whatever the situation, and as Cleveland and their 2-headed running attack and Deshaun Watson, we figure out what the hell he gonna be in the future. And then you got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that crew coming up. Y'all figure it out, because if y'all don't pay me in 2 years, somebody will.
Especially because the Bengals O-line done started to show up a little bit.
I mean,
so I don't know if you want to wait a bit. We know what Burrow is.
We know what he is.
But
and Joe Mixon is a dog. Joe Mixon is great.
And that O-line sure up. That's a problem.
So I don't know. Listen, as much as I want Baltimore to lose, it's hard to defy or to just deny who Lamar Jackson is.
Especially because, there's some teams where it's like, oh, they get away from the run when they're, in trouble and things like that. With the Ravens, that's kind of not really that much of a problem because he's a runner.
Yes!
So it's like, literally, if he can't get a pass, he finds somewhere to run.
Man.
And he does it better than most.
No. He do it better than anyone.
And that's all. Anybody wants to go and debate whether he's the best to do it or blah blah blah. I don't care. I'm not trying to give the man a title reign.
Right.
I'm the best runner. I am just telling you that for a fact you got to watch it. Like there's no way you're not thinking you got to watch that.
You look at this year compared to previous years, and there's no comparison. I'm simply say that Lamar Jackson simply looks like he just gets better and better and better. And like I said, my only nickel on him coming into this season was, can he stay in the pocket and deliver the ball accurately down the field, which he has been doing. Period. I have no complaints outside them being in the AFC North and me wanting to lose every week, especially to the Steelers. That's it.
I was like I said early on when we first started talking about him, I was like, that's a you're probably using Von Miller to try to bottle him up because he's a dominant pass rusher.
Yes, he is.
But the thing about that is, I don't remember who the Bills played in their last 3 games. Not all of them. I know they played the Bengals once. But these O-lines and these quarterbacks have not been the same.
They played 2 and they lost last week.
Right. So
hold up. Yeah, that was the Bills.
Yeah. So but also Tua not mobile
No, not
Lamar.
no. Hell no.
Tua will get out there a little bit, but he's not Lamar.
No.
So that's when Von does not get when he doesn't get the sack, he still gets a hurry. Lamar looks fine with being hurt.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's oh, you're gonna rush me to my left? All right.
I never seen nobody just move. He just looked, to me, he looks night and day better than what he did last year. I know his season got cut. It's just, I'm saying previous years, because not just last year, because I know his season got cut short due to injury, but just previous years, he just looks night and day better, and it's just amazing. Like you were saying, he just looks like it's just easy. Like, okay, this way. Like there's a hole. Okay, I'm gonna skate down the field. I'm just gonna, and it's just like it feels like he's never in a hurry to do anything.
And it's like when you see Murray scramble, it doesn't look pretty.
No.
When you see Carson Wentz scramble, it looks bad.
Hold up, Carson Wentz got the worst scramble. Is what looks.
That's why I said it looks bay. Murray doesn't look pretty. He gets it done sometimes.
Right.
Lamar's looks planned. Like when they come to draw up plays, they're like, all right, Lamar, so you're gonna scramble some, and then you're gonna look downfield. And it's like that's what it looked like last year. Well, now it looks like no, you're good. You know what you're doing. If you see it, you see it. If you don't,
yes.
run.
Okay, I was just about to say, I was like, man, listen.
So it's so night and day for me.
He's seeing the field a lot better than what he has in previous years. For me, and people like, well, you haven't been watching Baltimore. I said, listen, I look at Baltimore because they in my doggone division, and it's still division. I have no choice but to look at Baltimore because I have to keep tabs on what they do because it directly affects the Steelers. Whether the Steelers lose or win, it does.
And I think he was just straight up run first. He was a run first quarterback.
Man, but this year, oh my!
And he was like, "Wait, I could just throw this. I don't have to run and get hit every play."
Man, so with that being said, I hate to say it. Know what? I can't do it. I just cannot do it because not only do I have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs on my fantasy football team, who has been reeking in the greatest benefit. People say don't pick a quarterback within the first couple rounds. I said fudge y'all, and I got Josh Allen like in the first, like the second round. So I said fudge y'all, and I turned around and got Stephon Diggs in like the third round or something like that, and I said, oh. Yeah, and I've been reaping benefit. When I was down about 30 or 40 points, you know who came through to win me a game?
Was it Josh Allen?
It was Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Because
you know why?
Because they usually connect for at least 100 and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a crazy connection.
So
they hit each other. They're like, hey, just move her a little more. Oh, I already know.
And the only reason why they didn't hit last weekend in Miami was because everybody was gassed in that game. If you saw the post game, everybody. I've never seen so many people laid out on the field after a game in my life. Stephon Diggs was dealing with cramps and passing out on the field. Everybody, I've never seen offensive line taking helmets off, laying on the field. And I was like, it is effing hot. Give me an IV. We gonna have to get the hell out of here. Give me some AC or something.
I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm talking to going home.
So for real. So with that being said,
make sure the plane is outside. We're not going to the airport. Bring it here
with the AC on. Blast for real. For real.
It was like with a bottle of water and some crackers.
Man. With that being said, I'm gonna take the Bills.
I'm still taking the Ravens.
I understand why, and I it was a hard decision, but I just because Baltimore's defense is just. I believe it's gonna come down, like you said earlier. It's gonna come down to defense.
Yep. Who's gonna be stout in the end?
I think Von Miller could get to. I think Von Miller and them guys could get to the quarterback at least a couple of times, and force Lamar to have to run more than throw it, which could be dangerous. But at the same time, Matt Milano is fast. Tremaine Edmonds is fast. They could spy on Lamar and at least minimize it to a stint. I'm not saying you can't minimize Lamar when he's scrambling, but you could minimize him to a point where he ain't hurting you too much. Where he gonna have to for he gonna have to throw the ball. And if he just sit there and pick them damn Bills apart in the secondary and pocket, listen, I live and die by the sword. I'll fall on. As a matter of fact, I'll jump on that doggone sword and just deal with it. I'm pretty sure the Buffalo Bills will too. They was like, if we could just keep his ass in the pocket and force him to throw the doggone ball to these receivers, we'll die on that sword. And we lose, we'll die on that sword.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna die on that sword with them. So I got Buffalo coming in because especially that secondary has been giving up points left and right more than a street hooker on Harry Hines. Boy, I tell you the truth, them jokers has been giving up the doggone points. I'm talking about for real.
So I give it to Ravens, and I'm expecting RPOs. Because you take Von Miller going into the backfield trying to get Lamar. And his focus is going to be Lamar. Their focus is not going to be the running back. It's Lamar. And then just let Lamar decide. Pitch to your running back. Keep it. Throw it. He can do all of those. I give it to him. I understand the spies. But at the same time, everybody knows who he is. So everybody been spying.
That's true. But you're also talking about two of the best cover linebackers in the league, in Tremaine Edmonds as well as Matt Milano, who can cover Andrews, because the moment they start scrambling, that damn Andrews tight end, Mark Andrews is gonna get open.
But it's
open.
I give it to boil down to, I feel like currently Lamar looks better under stress to me than Josh.
Fair enough. I'm not.
And like we said, I feel like it's boiling down to the end, and it's just going to be, all right, there's a minute left. You have the chance to go in. Who ends up with that ball?
I just don't want to see Ken Dorsey tearing up the doggone booth again. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody loves a good table flip.
All right. So these upcoming games, we're just gonna run through real quick. We got Cowboys in Washington. Who you got?
I'm taking Cowboys off a little bit of bias and the simple fact that the Commanders have not looked good.
I'm right there with you. Oh, we got Detroit.
Not that the Cowboys have looked great, but they've looked good.
Right. And Cooper Rush has been solid as well. We got Detroit and Seattle. Who you got?
Ooh, Seattle, you look bad. And Detroit, although your record withstanding, you looked on the come up. So, and their attitude this year, I'm giving it to Detroit.
Yes!
I'm giving it to Detroit off attitude alone.
Yes! I'm right there with you. I'm on Detroit. Who you got? Chargers or Texans? I got Texans. I'm going to say that. I got Texans. And I know I picked the Chargers to win their division, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side. So I'm going Texans. I'm going Dougie Mills and the Texans.
I don't know if I said this while we were recording or if it was before we started recording. I like to root for people who haven't won because I don't want to see you go out like that. So I'm giving it to the Texans because I don't want to see you go out like that.
All right, we got Colts in Tennessee.
Derrick Henry got to have a game. It's going to be a game when he comes out and he looks like Derrick Henry.
Yes.
And I think Colts are the good option for you.
Fair enough. At the same time, if the Colts shut down Derrick Henry, they have to rely on Ryan Tannehill. and as you know,
you're not big on that. You're not big on that.
I'm not sold on Ryan Tannehill.
I think you hate that option more than I hate Matt Ryan.
At all, yeah. Yes. Listen, I'm not sold on him at all. So therefore, I'm gonna go against the Colts. I'm gonna go for the Colts.
Did Matt Ryan go to the Colts?
Yes, he played for the Colts.
That's another reason I don't think they're gonna win. I done forgot where you went, Matt Ryan. That's how much I don't like you.
So he with the Colts.
Goddamn Matt Ryan.
Oh man.
Shameful is what?
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting matchup. It's a division matchup. We got Giants versus Chicago. I got Chicago in this one.
Giants, I don't know. I don't think you're bouncing back as quick as you did from last week.
But Saquon Barkley is the dog, though. He is, man.
But at the same time, Saquon Barkley is a dog every other game. I feel like he is not a back-to-back.
He has been this season, though.
He's been, yeah, I'll give him that.
He's been hurt the last couple of seasons.
And I don't think he's the lean-on runner that we want him to be. Like, I don't think he's the X factor. We can come in here and I'm like, hey, I'm confident we're going to win just off Saquon Barkley.
Man, I don't know. I like Saquon.
I like him too.
And I mean, I can see why he needs a competent quarterback. And he also needs a competent receiver core because Kenny Golladay is trash. Straight trash, garbage. And it's because of the previous regime that the Giants hired. He got this big-ass contract, getting paid like $31 million or something like that a year. And for shit, excuse my language, but for nothing. And he barely playing. Because he can't hold on to the ball. He want to talk all this crap on the offseason, and he just not producing. He hasn't been producing. He has never lived up to that contract.
It's like, you talking shit, you got to prove it.
So with that being said, I'm going with Justin Fields and the crew. So.
Oh yeah, I'm still going with Bears.
All right. Ooh, this is another one we should talk about. Not going to talk about, but it's a really, really good one. Eagles, Jacksonville.
I'm probably gonna go.
I know you're gonna go Jacksonville because you ain't gonna choose.
Well, no, like I believe I said it earlier when we were recording that. Like I haven't watched enough of the Jaguars to.
So you actually gonna true for Philly?
The only reason I don't want to go for them is because they're currently 3-0, and I don't believe in y'all going undefeated that long. I feel like you're heading for a choke, just as the Eagles. But here right now, since I've only seen, I know the Jaguars are on the come up. You're high on Trevor Lawrence, but right now I'd still give it to the Eagles.
Me too. I don't see them let down, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville makes it a game.
Jacksonville always makes it a game. That's the problem with rooting against them. They almost always make it a game.
Well, they got a competent coach now, and they got a competent coach, and it's showing night and day that the guys believe in their coach. So, yeah. And then we got the Steelers and Jets. I'm going to choose the Steelers. I'm going to always root for the Steelers. I'm just going to choose the Steelers because it's the Jacksonville. Now, if we lose this game, Mitchell Trubisky is going to get benched. If Mitchell Trubisky don't get benched if we lose this game, I'm going to be looking at Mike Tomlin like, what the F? Like, this is like the perfect setup, just like Ben, for like when Ben took over, like when Ben took over in 2004 for Tommy Maddox. Granted, that was an injury. Tommy Maddox played okay. He didn't really do anything. He was playing decently. He wasn't shining anything. But the moment Ben stepped in, it was night and day. Ben was playing to win. And I think Kenny Pickett is the guy. And if we lose to the Jets, Mitch should not start. Should get benched.
I'm going to agree with you because I feel like this game is set up to where it's like, hey, Steelers just go and get it.
Right, we should get it.
Just go and get it. That's all you have to do is just go and get it.
Yes.
Come out here like you want it and go get it. You should come out with a W here.
But if we lose, which is a possibility.
And that's one of those things, the only way Mitch doesn't get benched if y'all lose is something crazy has to happen. Stuff has to happen and it's like, there's no way I can fault you for that.
Right.
And it's like literally if you hit everybody in their numbers and they keep throwing it in the air and it keeps getting intercepted, I won't blame you.
Right, at all. So, with that being said, we got Carolina and the Cardinals. We got Baker Mayfield versus Kyler Murray. 2 former number 1 overall, 2 former Oklahoma quarterbacks.
The battle of slowly getting worse.
He said slowly getting worse.
I mean, that's what it is, because everybody was so high on Baker Mayfield at one point. We were so high on Kyler Murray at one point.
Yeah.
We were really high on the Cardinals at one point.
But I wouldn't.
Well, not everybody. But a lot of people were so up here.
Right.
And then slowly and steadily, both these teams, people are just dropping and dropping.
I also remember this month, Call of Duty drops. And as the report says, no, Call of Duty drops. Kyler Murray plays like crap. So we going to see.
Hey, you got to make sure he prestige first.
So, with that being said, I'm taking Baker Mayfield and Carolina Panthers.
I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Oh, okay, cool. That's fine. That's cool. We got Green Bay and New England. Who you got?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Fair enough. Mac Jones ain't going to play. And I'm not. Yeah, Brian Hoyer. Yeah.
I wasn't sold on Mac Jones winning this game for you.
Yeah. Well, hell, you're right. Fair enough. Anyway, move on to the next. You got the Raiders and the Broncos.
I know earlier I said I typically root for people who ain't won yet. but I can't. I can't. Like, there were so many times in the Broncos game last week where they were understanding. They're like, wait, we traded all this stuff. We spent all this money. We have Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Maybe let's let him be Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And if they do that again, this is going to look bad for you. Like, if they do that again and they're like, hey, no, Russell, be Russell.
Right.
Like, be what we paid you to be.
Yes.
And that happens, this isn't going to be pretty.
What Jared Judy got to catch the doggone ball. He has to. When it's thrown to you.
Russell, take you aside and be like, if you don't catch this ball one more time, I swear, everything they think about me being a good dude, I will show you the opposite.
Oh man, for real, cause man, he got to catch the doggone ball. When it hits you in the head, you got to catch the ball.
I will call Future personally to figure out how to be more toxic, just so I can get rid of you. Just
for real. He said, "You ain't DK. I understand you're not DK.
I was like,
DK is a freak of nature, and that's what you want to be."
Like, and I'm not asking you to be that. I'm just asking you to catch these balls.
That's all.
I was like, because I put it in a spot where you were already going to get your first down.
Right.
I'm not even asking for run after catch right now. I would like some, but I'm not even asking for that.
But with that being said, I like the matchup of the Broncos defense versus the offense. I love the Patrick Surtain versus Devontae Adams matchup. So, and I love Bradley Chubb going against the offensive line of the Raiders. So I'm choosing Broncos.
Yeah, and part of their X factor is Derek Carr. You look bad.
Bad dog.
So it's one of those things where like, hey, Broncos defense, get after it.
Yes.
Like just get after it. It's one of those games that like literally, if y'all do everything correct, this should be really fun for the Broncos.
Oh yes, for sure.
And a nightmare for the Raiders. And maybe I'll root for you next week. Cause
he said next. I don't know if you're going to root for him next week. I highly doubt it.
I don't know what they're playing. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
All right, we got arguably the GOAT, finger quotes. I like Tom Brady, but I don't think he's the GOAT. But anyway.
I don't think you need the finger quotes if you're going to say arguably. I think
arguably with people, because people call him the GOAT because Bill Belichick cheated his first 3 Super Bowls. The Tuck rule happened his 4th Super Bowl. 5th Super Bowl. What's his name? One of the Super Bowls, D4 jumped off sides, cost Kansas City that championship berth. Yeah, it's just. So it's a lot to go into those. That's why I say arguably. I think he's a great quarterback, but I don't think he's the best. I still think Peyton Manning's the best. A side note, because Peyton Manning did things the right way. He was very cerebral, and he didn't have to cheat. Nor did he have a head coach to cheat for him. He didn't complain about, he didn't deflate footballs as well. So I mean, that's always the thing too. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Do me a quick favor. Click on Chiefs. Who have they played so far?
Calling me out in the dead of night, fighting my battles for me. You are my rescue story. Okay. Full schedule. Booyah. They play Arizona. They murked. They played San Diego. I said San Diego. Lost to Chargers. They played Chargers. And they lost to Indianapolis. So that's who they played.
Okay. But even looking at their what they're doing right now, it's kind of shown that Tampa can be held. They can be held.
They can be helped or held.
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 Like they're low scoring right now.
Well, last week, last week they had no starting receivers outside of Russell Gage.
Yeah.
Nothing against Russell Gage. But when you missing Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, that's huge.
I mean, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not pointing fingers or anything. It's just one of those things that currently it's shown that that you can be forced into low scoring.
Fair.
And right now, it's been shown that you can get to Brady. You can.
Yes.
Like, it's been shown so far that you can get to him.
Okay.
So right now, it's one of those, like, if you can keep this low scoring, Kansas, if your defense shows up for you, you have a chance to win this game.
Or if they keep it low scoring, he gonna yell at Eric Bieniemy again, because he wanted to go for it as Eric trying to protect his quarterback because he was getting murked throughout the game. But that's all good. I still got Kansas City winning this game. As much as I like the AFC to lose, I like when the AFC loses. Except the more the AFC loses versus the NFC, and the Steelers continue to win, the better the Steelers' record and position is later on in the season. So anyway,
I give it to the Chiefs just because the Buccaneers look like they got more holes.
And listen, I still don't believe in the Chiefs. Listen,
I don't believe in them later.
I don't believe in
them.
what you're saying. Like, for real, listen, but I was wrong about how they was gonna look at the beginning of the season. They do look good. Pat Mahomes is spreading the ball,
and that's all I wanted to know.
But at the same time, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with Juju. I'm not impressed with Claire Hilaire. I'm not impressed with none of the receivers they got out there. I'm definitely not impressed with the defense. So to me, they're not the top. They're not the top of the AFC as they usually are. And I'm not saying it's Pat Mahomes or anybody's fault. It's just sometimes it takes teams a little time to get going. But, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it's still we'll find out within week 6. We should know who teams are. And until then, I'm going to save my very condemning judgment on a lot of teams except the Titans because Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback. So, with that being said, the 49ers versus the Rams.
I was taking Chiefs, by the way, for that one.
Oh, I know. You said, I heard you taking the Chiefs. Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs, too. So, because I got Kelsey as well on my fantasy football team, and I need him to get at least 2 tubs, and I think he can.
All
So,
right, Rams and Niners. I'm giving that Rams.
I'm going to give it to the Rams, too, because last week, Jimmy G looked like a hot mess. So hot mess. So,
and that's the guy who everybody was yelling at the Cowboys to go get.
Yes, as well as they was talking about how Trey Lance should, how he should be starting over Trey Lance. So Yeah.
Prove it. It's like at this point, because we don't see it.
We don't see it at all. So, yeah, with that being said, that's the end of this video. We done got through the slate of games. This should be going up soon. Tonight, because obviously tomorrow's the game. So, anything else?
I still don't like Matt Ryan.
Fair enough. I don't like Ryan Tannehill, so.
People with the name Ryan somewhere in your name, we don't trust you.
Yes, I guess so. Don't stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll holler at y'all next time.